I had a good childhood, I guess. I didn't. And one thing I really didn't like to do on the farm, didn't have to milk, but when they'd put hay in the hay mow, I'd have to lead the horse. And I was always afraid. We had 3 horses, Bird, Pard, and Silver. Silver was a riding horse. The other 2 horses were work horses. One of them even had a stamp on it where it had been, out in the West. But they weren't mean horses, Pard and Bird. But when I'd lead them, I'd have to lead them down our driveway. We had a cement driveway, and they were putting the hay up there, and I'd have to walk along like this because I didn't want them to tramp their foot on me. And Daddy and Dutch had always made fun of me because they'd see me way out here. I'd have Bird out and then I'd say, is it time to come back yet? No. And I'd have to keep going. Then when I'd turn around to go back, it wouldn't be so bad going back because I could keep way off from her. Yeah. But I'd have to be pretty close to her going out. That was the only thing I really didn't like to do. I didn't mind going down and feeding the chickens, mixing mash and all that. That didn't bother me. And we maybe buy 300 new baby chickens, and they'd be in like a house where it was real warm, with whatever you call it. And I didn't mind when they got a little bit big. You had to carry them from there down to the other. And I can remember Betty, my older sister. She wasn't as strong as me, and I could carry, maybe 2 chickens in each hand. And I remember one time she looked like she was going to faint. It was heavy for her. But I didn't mind doing any of that. That wasn't bad. I didn't have to clean anything in the barn like this, any place. We usually had not me, but Betty, we'd usually have a barn dance when all the hay was out of the upstairs in the one barn. She'd have her friends come, and I guess I was just there. Be her friends. They'd have a dance up there in the barn. They had one for me one time when I was a freshman in high school, and they just, not in the barn, in our kitchen, and they put corn flour all over the kitchen to make the kitchen, like gritty and everything, so you wouldn't fall down when you're dancing on there. And that was Betty. She was behind all that. I wouldn't have done that. But anyway, she did it. I think I was a freshman in high school and had different kids. It was a surprise. I wasn't supposed to know about that for my birthday. And my mother was easygoing, so she had a sister whose husband was the mayor of this little town, and they didn't have any children. And so how was it? I got scarlet fever, and I was quarantined. I don't know what grade I was in. But anyway, Betty and Peggy had to go stay at my aunt's, who had never had any children. Mm-hmm. And she'd be calling my mother up, telling that they were knocking the house tap dancing, because they both took tap dancing. And I can remember she'd tell them, oh, they're going to knock the house down. They're tap dancing out there in that kitchen. I didn't have to worry. I had to be quarantined. No one could come in. My mother could come. And the day I got out of quarantine, we went to Wheeling, West Virginia, to shop because it was right before Christmas, like 3 or 4 days before Christmas. And my mother hadn't been able to go any place to shop, because she was quarantined. She was the only one that could go in the room to give me food and everything. Wow. And I know how I got scarlet fever. We had a roller skating rink, and I liked to roller skate. And they didn't have cups that you could get a drink of water. They had a glass there. So I probably drank out of that glass. Mm-hmm. That's how they figured I got scarlet fever. Nobody else got it, just me. And then my aunt in Pittsburgh, the one that was a nurse in the First World War, she kept telling my mother, now don't let her do anything until her fever's down to normal. I don't know how many days. So I wasn't, when I was stayed in my bedroom and everything. But they were taking my fever all the time, and the doctor and the county nurse and everything. So I didn't end up with heart problems, because Aunt Lil knew that if you could get heart problems from scarlet if you didn't watch yourself. And that was the conversation all the time. She can't do anything. And then all the toys that I got when I was quarantined, I couldn't keep any of them. I had to give them away. You know, that'd be the end. They just had to throw them out.
Yeah.
I can remember that.
Any advice after all those years to pass on to coming generations?
Well, I guess keep yourself busy. You'll keep out of trouble. Don't give up. But I watched that in my family. Everybody was the same. None of them, you know. That's the reason they'll say to me, my neighbor's always saying, would you like to have the woman that cleans for me clean for you? No, I don't need it. I got my windows all washed on the outside and the inside now for the year. As long as I can keep moving, I'm all right. Gotta keep moving.
Keep moving.